Hey, what's going on? I'm Keith here at Sports Vibes TV, and Fred Van Vleet was recently on JJ Redick's podcast discussing what his future contract demands would be. Now, I included Fred Van Vleet in one of my realistic rebuilds. That's something I'm going to link up above for you if you decide you want to check it out and see what other moves I made. Now, in that realistic rebuild, I tried to get Fred Van Vleet right around 20 to 22 mil. Now, in this podcast, Fred Van Vleet was very blunt in what he's looking for in his next contract. And pretty much what he said is, I'm trying to get paid. So this may be very good for you fans that are hopeful that the Knicks try to go out and get Fred Van Vleet, because the Toronto Raptors are not going to try to invest too much in FVV for the simple fact that they're still trying to keep their books clear for the most part so they can go after a potential Giannis run in the 2021 free agency. Now, when it comes to Knicks fans, you have to ask yourself, do you really want to invest that much in FVV? Because he hasn't necessarily had that role of being the primary point guard. He's always been able to rely somewhat on Kyle Lowry, who for the most part has been inconsistent, but the same can be said for Fred Van Vleet. And I just want to know, do Knicks fans really feel we should invest upwards of 25 million into Van Vleet? Because we have to see, is he going to have the ability or have the, what's the word, just have that inner fire to take over and dominate a game. If you're going to be paying a player that much money, he's going to have to be at least an all-star echelon player. And Fred Van Vleet has had moments where he's played to that capacity, but is that something that he can do consistently? We're going to have to see. Fred Van Vleet has always been in a position at Toronto where he's had other players that are able to kind of take some of the load off. You know, he can have a bad game, and there's other players on the team that can step up and kind of carry the weight. You have, like I said, Kyle Lowry, you have Siakam, and you have, at times you had Ibaka, who would have games where he would show out. Same thing with Gasol. You had a lot of veterans on that team, as well as some young talent that could always chip in and help. On the Knicks is going to be a completely different story depending on what other moves we make around Fred Van Vleet. If New York is expecting to bring him in and have him as the feature player, then, you know, they may be setting themselves up for disappointment. I view Fred Van Vleet more as, I don't want to say a role player, but more as a beta, you know, something like a 1B, a 1C. I don't really want him being the best player on the team. And if the Knicks think they can try to do something like that, offering him maybe a 4-year, $100 million contract, they might end up getting egg on their face. I think that we should sign him to a somewhat reasonable contract, back to the similar contract that I put up in the realistic rebuild, somewhere around 20, 22 mil. And yes, he can be the starter, but we need to bring someone else in, or hope that RJ is going to develop into that 1A alpha that's going to carry the team and bring them into playoff championship contention. And, you know, it's going to be risky bringing in FVV. I don't think it's going to be, a lock that he's going to come in and help be that piece to turn or change the franchise. He is a good quality player, and he's already proven he can be a quality player on a championship team. We just need to know, is he able to be thrust into that spotlight, the bright lights of New York City, and perform night in and night out? Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. I also want to remind you guys, I will be going live November 18th, an hour before the draft. If you guys want to join me, make sure you guys are there. You can also subscribe and hit the bell icon. That way you're notified when I do go live. All right. So once again, I'm Keith, host of Sports Vibes TV, and I'm out.